The Beaches podcast is going to give you everything you want to know about a beach before you go there. I hope you enjoy the show. Be sure to check out our website, www.sandee.com. Without further ado, let's get into the show.
All right, so today we're going to be doing a deep dive into Venice Beach, California.
Oh, yeah.
So whether you're someone who is planning a trip and wants to know more, or you're just fascinated by places that are a little different or maybe a little out there, we got some really interesting insights to share with you today, I think.
Absolutely.
We're going to be exploring the Venice Beach Boardwalk.
Of course, yeah.
The street art scene, and the surf culture altogether.
Yeah, it's really kind of a fascinating combination of things.
It is. It's really interesting.
Venice Beach manages to be both like this almost a stereotype.
Right.
And also at the same time, something that's just constantly evolving.
Yeah.
It's really kind of a microcosm of California culture.
Yeah.
Especially, Southern California.
Yeah, and it has a really interesting history.
Oh, absolutely.
So let's start with the boardwalk.
Sure.
I know that it's this major tourist destination.
Yeah.
But what is it that actually makes it so, I guess for lack of a better word, like a sensory experience? Like beyond just the crowds and the souvenir shops.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that really kind of defines it?
Well, okay, so imagine this.
Sure.
You're walking along the boardwalk, right?
Right.
The sun is warm on your skin.
Mm-hmm.
You can smell that salt air mixing with maybe like the sweet aroma waffle cones or something like that.
Ooh, yeah.
And a skateboarder whizzes by. You hear the rhythmic thump of their wheels.
Oh, yeah.
And that blends in with maybe a nearby street musician who's playing guitar or something.
Yeah.
You hear snippets of conversations in a dozen different languages.
Oh, wow.
People laughing, the cries of seagulls overhead. It's just this constant bombardment of sights and sounds and smells.
Yeah.
But somehow it all comes together to create this really vibrant and energetic atmosphere.
That's a way better description than just saying it's sensory overload.
Yeah.
So how is it that this really unique blend of entertainment and, as you said earlier, counterculture, how did that all come to define the Venice Beach Boardwalk?
So it actually started in the early 20th century.
Oh, wow.
As like this developer's dream. Okay.
They envisioned it as this like Venice of America, complete with canals, an amusement pier, all these things. But over time, it evolved into something a lot more organic.
Okay.
And I think the counterculture movements of the 60s and 70s really left their mark on Venice Beach.
Mm-hmm.
And they brought this sense of freedom and rebellion to the area that I think still resonates today.
Okay.
And you can see it in a lot of the different elements of the boardwalk.
Yeah.
You know, the street performers, the unconventional shops, and just this general atmosphere of tolerance and acceptance.
Yeah, it's interesting how that counterculture spirit also really fueled the street art scene in Venice Beach.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's really evolved beyond just graffiti, isn't it?
Right. It's not just like tagging or anything like that. It's really become this ever-changing outdoor gallery.
Right.
I think it's best to think of it as like public art that really reflects the social and political climate of the time.
It definitely started out with more simple tags and graffiti.
Yeah.
But it's evolved into these really elaborate murals that tell stories, that challenge norms, and sometimes even spark debate.
I've heard of artists like Rip Kronk.
Oh, yeah.
With those really intricate black and white designs he does.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there's kind of this like tension between the more established artists and the up-and-comers who are trying to make a name for themselves?
Absolutely. So, for example, the Venice graffiti walls, they're actually a really great example of this because they provide a legal space for artists to express themselves.
Okay.
But even there, you still see this constant kind of push and pull between different styles and different generations.
Right.
You know, you have these more established artists who might be guarding their spots. Yeah. And then you have these new artists who are really eager to come in and make their own statements.
Right.
It's just this really dynamic process, you know?
Yeah.
And it really keeps the scene fresh and exciting.
So it's not even just about like pretty pictures.
No.
It's this reflection of the social dynamics.
Yeah.
Artistic expression, and even just like territorial competition.
Right.
Just all playing out on the walls.
All happening right there in front of you.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It's really like this conversation in spray paint and brushstrokes.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
So from visual rhythms to the rhythm of the waves, Venice Beach is also known for its legendary surf culture.
Yeah.
But is it really a surfer's paradise?
Oh, that's a good question.
Or is that just this like romanticized image that we all have?
Well, I mean, it's true that Venice Beach has been like a surfing mecca since the early 20th century.
Okay.
You know, they have miles of coastline and these really consistent waves.
Right.
But Paradise, maybe not so much anymore. Overcrowding, pollution.
Yeah.
The impact of coastal development have definitely taken a toll on Venice Beach.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, we often hear about these surfing legends.
Yeah.
Like Miki Dora.
Of course.
Who was this rebel surfer who really embodied the free spirit of the sport.
Yeah.
But I imagine the reality for surfers today is a little bit different.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So Dora, for example, famously clashed with the commercialization of surfing.
Oh, wow.
Which is ironic, considering how commercialized Venice Beach itself has become.
Right.
The Zephyr competition team.
Yeah.
In the 70s, they had this really aggressive style and this kind of rebellious attitude.
Yeah.
And they really challenged the status quo of surfing. But those were different times.
Yeah.
Surfers today, they face a whole different set of challenges. Crowded lineups, environmental concerns, the pressure to conform to a certain image.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like there's this tension between the romanticized image of surfing and the reality of what it's become.
Yeah, and I think that kind of reflects the broader challenges facing surf culture all over the world.
Right. So we've got this iconic boardwalk, this vibrant street art scene, and this surf culture that's grappling with its own evolution. It's kind of a lot to think about.
It is, and we've only scratched the surface.
Yeah.
Here's something I think is interesting to ponder.
Okay.
How do you think these three elements, the boardwalk, the art, and the surf, how do they contribute to the unique identity of Venice Beach? And how might that identity be shifting in the face of all these modern challenges?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
It really makes me want to learn more about the history of Venice Beach and kind of explore how these different elements influence each other.
Absolutely.
Maybe even try to catch a glimpse of those legendary Venice Beach sunsets I've heard so much about.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thanks for opening my eyes to everything going on beneath the surface.
Of course. My pleasure.
It's been great talking to you.
Likewise.
I hope you enjoyed this deep dive, and be sure to check out our next episode.
See you next time.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the show, and be sure to tune in next week for your favorite episode about some of the best beaches and beach information in the world.